Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Amma ba'du. Habati fillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hayyakum Allah jami'an. A question was asked, Assalamu alaikum, or a comment. Please respond to the Yaqeen comments from your brothers who are concerned. The fact that Tahir is with them is disturbing, but yet you won't address the issue, but you will address our devoted brothers at Salafee Publications. So it's an interesting comment, but it's just plain and simple factually incorrect. And why I say that, because I have discussed many times my view of Tahir, which I think is clear. It's not a mystery. I've done it in video form, which is kind of a strange concept, but it's the new age. And I think that's clear. As far as our devoted brothers at Salafee Publications, for years, I have not spoken openly about Salafee Publications and the mistakes. And even now that I have spoken a bit more, I try to make it always with adab, with manners, good manners, and respectful about the mistakes. I'm not in a position or trying to carve out a position with anyone. With, against, in between, whatever. But just really looking at the truth. And if you noticed, for those people who have followed my YouTube for some years, they'll see that mostly I try to avoid those types of controversies, especially when it comes to those people who I believe are closest to us, even though that disturbs some of the people. But I'll just mention this. As far as scholars, when speaking to scholars about these issues, and also a lot of the mashayikh that you have in the West, and students of knowledge, the ones who are really students of knowledge and mashayikh, mostly I've only had total agreement with them in that those guys, SPUBS, are closer to us than other groups like Ikhwan Muslimin and the Sururiya, the Takfiris, the Deobandis, the Naqshbandis, the Sufi variant Sufi sects and trends. So there's no doubt that we all we drank from the same well. We drank from the well of the scholars of Ahl Sunnah. And this is what we learned from the scholars. And I'm not apologetic from it. I mean, it's not about blind following. It's just about looking at it from issues, masail ilmiya. We're talking about a knowledge-based opinion. It's not because you were wrong, not because you saw that your community was strong, not because your heart's broken, not because you're crying. It's not, none of those things are, they don't give us the substance that we need when it comes to making ahkam on individuals, when it comes to ruling on people. It's not a personal thing. I may disagree with many personal things, and I may disagree with minhaji issues, or asloob issues of the way dealing with people, and qawa'id, and that are batila, that are false. But there's no doubt, as I've said it countless times, that they are closer to us. They are closer to Ahl Sunnah, Amumin, than a lot of the other Hizbi groups. It's just the way it is. So don't get upset. And if you do, get upset. May Allah forgive us and you. As far as Tahir, as I said, I didn't really want to talk about this over and over. My thing is this, since you're asking me, I'm not asking you. I'm not searching out people to ask anybody anything. If I ask something, it's going to be to the scholars. That's just who I am. But I might also ask people who have more knowledge than me from mashayikh here in the West or something as well. But I'm going to ask those people who have more knowledge, or at least have insight, or at least have wisdom. They have something to offer. Since you came to me, and you're on my channel asking in my realm, then I will answer you with this. As I said, I've already talked about it. Again, I haven't studied Yaqeen and their issues, and one day I will, because it becomes kind of necessary, because we hear a lot of negative that they're harming the religion, and some people make takfir of them and all kind of different things. So they're obviously a group of great controversy. As far as addressing, I can't address something I haven't studied. And that's something I want this to be an issue of tarbiyah, that we can hopefully gain from this video, that it's very important not to speak without knowledge. So what if I did a big video about Yaqeen and I never studied anything? I didn't read their statements and stuff, but I just went with everyone else's statement. That would be problematic. Even I don't do that. Even scholars that I love and that I accept their statements about other mashayikh and individuals that I believe are mubtadi'ah, I still don't make videos and go into depth about them. For example, this is some for those people who are aware, like the scholar Abu Hassan Ma'rabi. Okay, I believe he's a mubtadi'ah. From what I followed up a little bit, I only looked a little bit into the issue, but I believe he's an innovator in the religion of Islam. You know, that he has fallen away from the da'wah to Ahl Sunnah. However, I would not go out and spend my time and energy collecting sin, speaking about this man without maslahah, nor would I belittle him beyond the limits of knowledge, meaning to belittle him so I could get praise from people, or to belittle him with lies and deception, or to belittle him for some other reason. That's my personal view, but it's not necessary that I make ban and that I go out there and I speak about the man, nor that I belittle his knowledge, because he's not ignorant. He's a scholar who has innovation, as there are many other scholars. We don't say that, oh, they're all jahil. Absolutely not. There are some that are imams in their fields from Ahl Bid'ah. That's just the way it is. You can't say, oh, he's ashari, he's jahil. No, absolutely not. There's some, they have knowledge in many of the fields, but the problem is there are issues in Aqidah right there. So that's something very important to get an idea about. The second point I want to mention, Habati Fillah, is this brother, may Allah bless us in him, said, please respond to the Yaqeen comments from your brothers. Well, how can I respond if I don't go into those issues? For me, it's a non-issue. Really, it's a non-issue for me. It doesn't have anything to do with my livelihood. It doesn't have anything to do with my family. It doesn't have anything to do with my deen. Okay? And not everyone, the fact that some people have spoke out against them, and if it is based on knowledge, then the obligation has been done. Meaning, when it comes to speaking about Ahl Bid'ah, or people who have mistakes, or whatever the case may be, that's not fard al-ayn. It is fard al-kifaya. Meaning, if some of the scholars, who did I say? Some of the scholars do it, you know, people of knowledge. I mean, I don't mean you have to be a big sheikh. I'm not saying that. I'm not taking this new qaida that I see people passing around, and I'm not going to name their names. And unfortunately, even some Salafis have fallen into the trap that you have to be a scholar and an alim to speak about Ahl Bid'ah, or to speak, oh no, this guy's worshiping the grave. He's literally supplicating to the grave. I don't know if he's a deviant or not. I'm not going to say he's a deviant. What is this? No, if the person has ilm, that's the point. They've studied these masail. They know tawheed. They know shirk. They know bid'ah. They know the masail. They're alimin bih. Kama qala ulama, that they know the issue, then they can make a hukum. But they have to have knowledge about it. So those major masail, we leave to the ulama. However, if someone has a degree of talab al-ilm, you know what I mean, they have some knowledge, and they know they're alimin bi hadha masail. I mean, they know it, they know the nuances of it, they've studied it, they sat with the ulama, they took the kalam and their understanding from the scholars, then of course they have a right to make tabdi in that. And I challenge you if you can find otherwise. especially from the kalama ahl al-ilm. Because since we're on this topic, that would close the door absolutely, even to the students and even to the mashayikh in the West, if you had to be the level of Fawzan to make tabdi of Yasir Qadi. And I'm just giving that as an example. And I don't mean that, I don't want to backbite, but I'm just giving that example because that's someone I've spoken about. But I'm not going to go to Jawaz al-Had with the man. I believe he's innovated in the religion of Islam, okay, for various reasons. But I'm not going to go and spend time excessively speaking about him, belittling him, personal attacks on him. No, we have to go, it's about the religion. I left disbelief to come to belief. I'm not going to, you know, we don't like when people abuse the principles of the religion and play with the minds of the people. So this is why it's in defense of Islam. And then another person gave a comment, I can't find it, which is also related to this. So since it's related, I'll speak. They said, because they're my friends and I'm scared for not speaking about them. Again, I already gave my reasoning behind that. So it isn't a fear of Tahir. I don't think he's going to beat me down. I don't think Muhammad Munir, that they're going to come and chase me down or do rudud on me or whatever. That's not why. And so it's not out of fear. A second point is that, and this is something that people don't realize, and I'm going to give you a nice example too, is that a lot of people, they think because what's in public, and again, you don't know me. Most of you don't know me in public. You've probably never ever seen me in public, okay? You just see me on a video, you know, the YouTube, some guy in America. He was in Saudi Arabia. They don't know anything about me. They don't know what my daily life's like. They don't know anything about me. So they don't know what I say. They don't know who I advise. They don't know who advises me. They don't know anything. You only know what is public. And so that is problematic, that everyone wants to make an opinion and a hukum based on only this social media appearance. Okay? Ahl Sunnah yahkum ala Tahir. The people of the Sunnah, they do judge by the Tahir. But as far as when it comes to advising and what so-and-so is doing and he doesn't do this, you don't have an idea. So it's not your place to speak about it. You don't know what I've talked about with Tahir. You don't know if I've advised him or I have given my opinion or disagreements or agreements or whatever. You don't know anything about that. So it's better not to really make your speculations and your opinions out there, because it sort of belittles you. A last point I want to mention, because it is relevant in general, about the issue of, for example, lecturing with Ahl Bid'ah or lecturing to Ahl Bid'ah and things like this, that these are major masail. We know that the usul, so this is just for the general knowledge. We're not necessarily putting this hukum on the Yaqeen issue or what have you, but just so we have an idea, because everyone has so many strange opinions. And opinions, they're so confused. SubhanAllah, it's just so weird how people get caught up. It's like a soap opera. And the dawah should not be a soap opera. Plain and simple. If I don't like listening to somebody, I'm not going to listen to them. If I feel doubt about someone, I'm not going to listen. There's too many scholars of Ahl Sunnah. Likewise, there's too many du'ata Ahl Sunnah. So why is it, if you feel that strongly about Tahir or Muhammad Munir or myself, or the fact that we're together, you know, or the fact that, you know, we did a podcast together or whatever, I wouldn't even listen to those guys, which is us. If you believe in your heart that someone is innovating the religion of Islam, it's not permissible. You shouldn't do that. But wasting your time and speaking and dragging out issues, you know, Tahir, hafidhullah, he dealt with his Yaqeen thing. He addressed it in a public forum with his video with the brother and the young smirks. And so whether you accept it or not, or whether you thought it was detailed enough or not, that's between you and whoever it is. But I just say that don't waste your time. Time is too precious. If you die now, it doesn't matter what the young smirk says. It doesn't matter what Tahir says. It doesn't matter what I said. You know, it's going to be mattering, can you answer those questions of the grave? So concern yourself with those things that benefit you. If you find confusion from people, don't listen. That's the best principle. Do not listen. When you listen to scholars, it should raise you. It should make you come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It should remove confusion from you. So that's a point. The second point, as far as, there's many things I want to say, and I don't want to make it too long, so we're not going to get into the issue about giving, we've already talked about it on many occasions, but I wanted to actually do a nice piece of research about bid'ah, about speaking to the people, you know, giving lectures to Ahl Bid'ah, from research from our scholars of Ahl Sunnah, you know, from the book and the Sunnah and the Minhaj of the Salaf, and then our contemporary scholars from Ahl Sunnah, to show some of the nuances. But again, that's a piece of research, so that takes time, which most of us don't have the luxury of, and we hope in the future. So those are just some of the things I wanted to mention. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty, to bless us with ikhlas, with the bad, and forgive us all, guide us all, protect us from confusion, protect us from bid'ah, protect us from deviancy, protect us from speaking about people without knowledge, and speaking about issues without knowledge, and speaking about Allah Azza wa Jal without knowledge. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad.